Christmas is off. Expect a call from my lawyer. That was my mother's entire voicemail. No hello, no explanation. My name is Courtney Lane, and the night my mom canceled Christmas, I didn't beg or call back. I typed one word. Understood. Then I set my phone down, opened my laptop, and logged into the mortgage portal for the house my parents call our family home. Balance, $320,000. Borrowers, Brenda Lane, Howard Lane, and me. For the first time in years, my name on that screen didn't feel like protection. It felt like leverage. Before we go on, tell me where you're listening from right now. A quiet kitchen, a parked car, a break room, or a room you finally have to yourself. Echoes of Life is here with you. When our mom, Brenda, first mentioned the house, it sounded harmless. I live in Tampa, steady office job downtown. Same drive every day. Sun 1 minute, hard rain the next. She called one humid afternoon, voice soft and tired. She talked about rising costs near the coast, insurance climbing every renewal, repairs that just kept coming. Words like drowning, barely hanging on, scraping by. My dad, Howard, was in the background. I heard the television, his fork on a plate. He never came to the phone. They framed it as temporary, just until things stabilized. Just my name on the mortgage to help them qualify. Not a big deal. Nothing I needed to worry about. That evening, the documents arrived in my inbox. My name sat beside theirs. 3 signatures holding up one roof. I stared at the screen for a long time. I told myself this was what a good daughter does. I signed. At first, it didn't feel heavy. I still paid my own rent, my own car, my own bills. Then a heat wave hit. The air conditioner at their house failed. They needed help, just this once. After that came a roof patch after a storm. An overdue utilities notice that had slipped through the cracks. Insurance increases that somehow never got handled. My involvement shifted quietly, from helpful daughter to default solution. My older brother, Derek, stayed on the edges, posting about deserved breaks, planning trips, never mentioning money. The more I covered, the less they said thank you. Help stopped being help. It became something I owed. If I hesitated, the air changed. Brenda's voice sharpened. Howard went silent. Derek's texts turned short and cool. I thought I was sharing their burden. Somewhere along the way, I became the structure holding up their denial. As the year slid toward the holidays, something in my family's tone shifted. It started small. My mom, Brenda, mentioned needing a reset before the new year. She talked about schedules being tight, how this season might look different. It didn't sound like a warning, just background noise. But every time I walked into a room during visits, conversations thinned out. Sentences trailed off. Someone changed the subject. Around the same time, my brother Derek got lighter. His posts turned smug. Cocktail photos. Captions about finally getting the break I deserve. My mom's Facebook grew busier too. She wrote about gratitude and sacrifice, about the burden of loving children who forget the hands that lifted them. She never used my name. She didn't need to. The comments poured in. You're such a strong mom. Kids these days don't know loyalty. My dad Howard clicked like on almost everyone. Reading it felt like watching someone repaint my life in real time. In her version, she was the exhausted hero. In mine, I was the one quietly covering bills while she auditioned for sympathy. I didn't argue. I screenshotted everything. Then a medical charge on a shared card caught my eye. The clinic name didn't match anything I recognized. A quick search pulled up a resort in the Florida Keys. Holiday packages, December dates, oceanfront rooms. The amount matched a deposit. I sat at my kitchen table staring at proof of a trip I hadn't heard about. A trip I had helped fund without being told it existed. I thought about the careful hints, the talk about space being limited, the way Derek stopped asking if I had plans for Christmas, how my mom's voice went oddly polite whenever the holidays came up. They weren't disorganized. They were deliberate. I didn't call to confront them. There was nothing left to ask. Instead, I called my friend Nina and laid out the pattern, the mortgage, the repairs, the resort, the posts. When I finished, she was quiet. Then she said, Courtney, this isn't confusion. They know exactly what they're doing. Something inside me stopped negotiating with their intentions. That night, I opened a new folder on my laptop, named it Home, and filled it with screenshots of transfers, emails confirming payments, photos of repair invoices. Line by line, I built a record of the version of me they were trying to erase. They weren't mistaken about who I am. They were building a story where my only value was what I could provide. If this were your family, what would you do? Comment 1 to keep paying and hope they change. Comment 2 to start documenting everything and step slowly back. As December settled in, the distance stopped feeling vague and finally took shape. It arrived as a voicemail. Christmas is off. Expect a call from my lawyer. No greeting, no reason. Just a cancellation wrapped as a threat. I stood in my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, listening to my mother talk to me like I was a problem to be managed. I played it again. Not because I didn't understand, but because I wanted to be sure there was nothing human hiding between the words. There wasn't. I didn't call back. I didn't text paragraphs trying to fix it. I typed one word, understood. Then I set the phone down, opened my laptop, and logged into the mortgage portal for the house they loved to call our family home. My name was still there. Brenda Lane, Howard Lane, Courtney Lane. 3 names propping one address. I clicked through the settings until I found it. Remove borrower. Review consequences. Confirm identity. A warning box flashed on screen. Removing a cosigner may trigger full reassessment. Remaining borrowers must independently qualify. If they do not, the bank may take appropriate action. That language had kept me in line. This time it sounded like accuracy. I entered my information. Answered security questions I knew by heart. Read the warning one more time, not to reconsider, but to honor the weight of what I was doing. Then I clicked submit. The confirmation appeared in plain text. No drama, no comfort. Just a notice that my name was no longer their safety net on paper. 2 days later, my phone started shaking. Missed calls stacked in red. My mom, my dad, Derek. Unknown numbers. Voicemails poured in. First came outrage. How could you do this? After everything we've done. Then came guilt. We're your parents. Families don't treat each other this way. Then came fear. One message stood out. A new number. A calm, practiced voice. Ms. Lane, this is counsel for your parents. I believe there has been a misunderstanding. It would be in everyone's best interest if you returned our call immediately. No one had called to ask if I was okay. No one had asked why I felt pushed this far. They weren't afraid of losing me. They were afraid of losing what I carried. That realization didn't make me angry. It made me steady. So when I finally agreed to meet them, it wasn't to repair Christmas. It was to end the version of the story where I existed only as their solution. I chose a neutral diner on the edge of town and walked in knowing I was done auditioning for the role of good daughter. That night, I stopped managing their crisis and started managing my exit. They arrived at the diner 10 minutes late. My mom walked in first, scanning the room. My dad followed, jaw tight. Derek came behind them, phone in hand. I was already in a booth by the window. I didn't stand up. Brenda slid across from me. Howard sat beside her. Derek took the edge. Well, my mom said, forcing a smile. This is dramatic, even for you. This isn't drama, I said. This is documentation. I opened my laptop and turned the screen toward them. Folder names on the desktop. Mortgage, repairs, utilities, resort. Bank transfers filled the page. Dates, amounts. Their names on every line. This is the last 3 years, I said. Every time I covered your mortgage when it was just this once. My dad stared at the table. The next folder held screenshots. Messages asking for emergency help. Voicemails. My mother's posts about ungrateful children. Derek's comments about loyalty. Brenda's face tightened. You've been spying on us, she said. No, I answered. I've been paying attention. This is just the record. Derek leaned forward. You didn't have to sign anything, he said. You're right, I said. I chose to help. Today I'm choosing to stop. My mom's voice dropped into that careful, cutting register. You're overreacting. You're letting money ruin your family. We're your parents. You owe us more than this. I don't owe you a mortgage, I said. I don't owe you a holiday I helped pay for but wasn't invited to. I don't owe you silence while you tell everyone I abandoned you. Before she could answer, the bell over the door chimed. My grandfather, Thomas Lane, walked to our table. "Dad, this isn't—" my mom started. He raised a hand. "I've heard the voicemails. I've seen the posts. I've seen the numbers. Sit." He studied the laptop, then looked at me. "Is it accurate?" "Yes," I said. He nodded. "Then there's no misunderstanding. There's just finally a record." I closed the laptop. "I won't be putting my name back on anything," I said. "I won't be funding a story where I'm both the villain and the wallet." They looked at my grandfather, waiting for him to rescue their version. He didn't. "She's done," he said. "You'll have to live inside what you built." I paid for my coffee and slid out of the booth. Brenda reached for my arm. "You can't just walk away from your family," she whispered. I looked at her hand until she let go. "I'm walking away from a role," I said. "The family ended that a long time ago." Outside, the air felt sharp as the door closed behind me. Their emergency didn't end when I left. It just stopped having my name attached to it. The quiet after the diner felt different. My phone finally stayed still. No more missed calls in red. No more voicemails trying on new tones. Silence wasn't empty. It was accurate. News reached me in pieces. A notice here. A whispered update there. The bank reassessed the mortgage. My parents couldn't qualify a loan. Letters became deadlines. Deadlines became consequences. Derek applied for a loan of his own. He was declined. No cosigner. No shortcut. Neighbors who once praised my mom's posts started sending screenshots she had deleted. Apologies slid into my inbox. I answered none of them. Their realization belonged to them, not to me. My grandfather visited one afternoon with a grocery bag and his steady presence. We sat at my small table drinking coffee. He didn't tell me to reconsider. He didn't ask me to fix anything. "I'm proud of you," he said, "for finally stepping out of their story." Life afterward wasn't glamorous. It was quiet. I updated emergency contacts, changed passwords, removed my family from every shared account. Weekends filled slowly with things that were mine. Books on the nightstand, walks at sunset, plans that didn't need anyone's permission. Sometimes I thought about past Christmases, how hard I worked to make them feel whole. Then I'd look around my little place. No tension, no eggshells, just room to breathe. I didn't save their house. I didn't save their version of me. What I saved was the part of myself that finally believed I was worth protecting. If any part of this felt familiar, you're not alone. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Echoes of Life will be here with more stories of quiet strength and boundaries that don't beg for love.